All right, we are live. What's going on, everybody? Let me get this tweeted out here. Awesome. So yeah, hope everybody had a great trading day today. It was not easy, I'll tell you that much. I mean, yeah, if you bought right at the open and just held at the end of the day, it was a great day, right? But we play levels, and granted it was Monday, so it's Mondays are interesting. Whenever you get gaps up like this, right? It basically kind of resets the gauges, right? So it's tough because you go into a new week, right? We were, if you're a subscriber to the newsletter, we were bullish coming into today, but a huge gap up like that. Really, what happens is it's really tough to fill those gaps. So let me go back to the levels. And of course, subscribers get these free every day. But basically, we gapped up here over this is your daily pivot level from yesterday, right? And then we hit R1, right? And then we gapped over R2. So really, you're over two resistance levels, right? So that in itself is very bullish, right? And then the next one you're running into is this weekly R1, and we pushed through that, right? And then we finally hit R3 and got calmed down a little bit, right? Chopped around, and then after that, pushed all the way back, back up here and got pretty close to the weekly R2 level. So so interesting enough, if you've watched the Fibonacci spiral video, you'll see, look where we closed today, and it came right off of it, this Fibonacci spiral right here. So pretty amazing stuff there. So that basically and it kind of shows where that is. So let's just take a look again at the daily, just where we are in general with the market. Let me just make sure everything's coming through sound wise. Good. Awesome. Yeah, so just real quick, so we had the just basically where we are in the market. So we had basically 2018, big push to the upside to all-time highs, and then double top rejected, push down, kind of a maybe a one move, A, B, C, two, possibly three move, and then now we have this crazy, almost nearly vertical push to the upside on the daily. So we had this level, and this level that were all serving as resistance, right? On the way down, and then on the way back up, and then it started to serve these levels started to serve as support, right? And kind of became a congestion zone, and then we held over that, and then we gapped up today. So right now futures are just kind of flat, a little bit negative and all that stuff, but it is what it is. We'll probably tomorrow should be interesting. We probably should get a little more flow to the upside and the downside, after a big kind of push like today. So that made it a little bit interesting. So that's basically kind of a recap of the market there. So today I basically wanted to talk about a trading technique that, if you guys, let me pull it up here. Let me pull up my my Twitter page. Give me 1 second. Let's see. I'll go here. So we'll go to the Bubblehead Twitter page, and I'll just kind of show you, because not everybody comes in here from Twitter. So if you guys are watching this through YouTube, hey, welcome. Definitely give me a follow on Twitter. So this is this is my Twitter page. Let me just pull this up here real quick. 1 second. Add source, screen capture, window capture, and let's see. We've got here. Okay, there we go. So there's here's my Twitter page here. Right. So thank you again to all followers. But basically, when I'm talking about the double inside day, what I do is I these rules that I have pinned here. Eventually, I'll put a video up here too. But right now, I have these pinned. So when day trading, it's important to have a set of rules, right, that you follow and you stick to, right? Otherwise, in a day like today, you could get chopped up, or just kind of get lost or try to short, when you should be going long, and stuff like that. And so the number one here, of course, the number one rule in any rule book should be risk first, right? So you always understand how much you're willing to risk on a trade, and it should be on a setup that you're comfortable with, right? So if you're experienced with that certain setup, by knowing your risk first, right, if you get stopped out, it's not going to hurt you, right? So that's the key, right there. That is number one. Always your number one rule is remember risk first, right? And then what I like to do when day trading off of the 60-minute time frame is buy over the VWAP, right? And then when all the futures, basically all your indexes are pointing up, and then the VIX futures are pointing down, right? And then I short when the price is under the VWAP, and then just the inverse of that, right? And so like I say here, trade the best hourly setups with an understanding of key time frames. And so so that's really important, right? And so let me pull this here, remove that, there, remove. Okay, and so so that's really pretty important, right? So so let me show you what happened here. Today I tweeted out Amazon. Okay, so so let's go to Amazon time frames, right? So if you notice this level, right? So when you have multiple monitors up, or you're aware of your key time frames, we had an inside week, okay? And so inside weeks or inside bars mark moments of indecision in the market, right? So price doesn't know which way it wants to go, right? So this was your bar, the prior bar, and then it went inside that bar. It's like, okay, well, do I want to go up? Do I want to go down? I don't know yet. So once that bar breaks, right, to the upside or the downside, typically that takes on a new direction. So what I'm going to do here is put a line, basically pretty close, as close as I can there, on the top of that weekly bar. Okay, so that's your inside bar right there. And then what I do is go to the hourly time frame, and let's see if we can see where that bar is. Did that not carry over? Hold on one second. Yeah, I think it's on a different setup there. I'm just going to save that as save as new drawing set. And I'm just going to call that key time frame. Okay, I'm going to go to the hourly. And just so you know, I'm going to remove a couple of this extraneous stuff. I'm going to remove the Keltner channel, so I can get a couple of these moving averages out of the way. I'm going to move the Bollinger Band. Okay, and I'll remove the 5 and 10 MA. There, that was an 8, and the 10. Okay, and then I'm going to show the key time frame level. Okay, so there you go. So this right here is Amazon. Now what's this purple line? Okay, so when I talk about on those rules, I talk about the VWAP, right? And so hopefully everybody can see everything. Am I showing up okay here? Hopefully I'm showing up okay. I just noticed a black screen on the live. Skip ahead to live broadcast. Okay, weird. For some reason my video thing isn't there. So hopefully everybody can see me. So anyway, so it's kind of key information too, so hopefully this is getting through. But this level here is just your VWAP, right? So you just go to your studies and you add your VWAP. So it is, I've done a video on VWAP before, but it's the volume weighted average price, okay? So this is really important, right? Because it shows it really kind of shows immediate trend of what's going on, right? Obviously you could look at your charts, look at trend lines and things like that, but in general, if you're over the VWAP, right, the trend is to the upside, right? If you're under it, the trend is basically to the downside. You're under the average price, right? Here you're over the average price, so that means it's kind of pushing up. Okay, so here with Amazon at the open, we had this first 60-minute bar, and this is based on an aggregation at the market starting at 9:30, right? Sometimes on the app, on the Thinkorswim app, it doesn't have aggregation for whatever reason starting at 9:30. It only starts at 9 o'clock, which is pretty annoying. But you can use like TradingView or other apps out there if you're using your phone to start it at 9:30, right? It's kind of key because it's when the market is really has the most interest, right? That's why that first 60-minute bar is so important. From there, okay, this first bar, this bar here went inside. Okay, so if we kind of look at general what the market was doing at the time, if you remember, right, it pushed up, right, on the SPX, it pushed up and then it started chopping around. Well, the whole market was chopping around, right? So when the market is chopping, right, it's most of the time you're getting an inside bar when that's happening. So the market's just basically deciding what to do. And then around here, I tweeted out, somewhere around like 12, where were we at? I can't remember. Yeah, it was like right when this bar closed, like we're getting 12.27 or something like that. So I was like, look, guys, double inside day, or I'm sorry, double inside 60 forming. Now, when you look at key time frames, look at this level right here. That is your inside week bar, right? So an inside week break to the upside is usually pretty strong, right? So when you can combine that with other indicators or other setups, it just gets even stronger, right? So here's your double inside bar right here, and then and I like too that it kind of went when it went red, right? So it kind of already took its pullback right here in this red bar, and then it was kind of geared up to launch. And so right here, the high was 1806.65, right? So it was here, kind of came down, opened here. So it was a nice bar. And what you do is when you trade these, you trade a break of this bar, you know, in the direction of the trend, right? So we're over the VWAP here on a break, right? We're over that purple line, right? And at the time, the futures were starting to go up too, like especially the Nasdaq, and it might have been Amazon leading the Nasdaq because of that, because it was getting very strong. But if you just kind of looked at your Spark charts or your short-term time frames, you would have seen that the Nasdaq had turned up before the other charts. So that was another clue that this was going to be a strong move. So that, and combined, right, with the inside week to the upside right here. So it came back through here, tested those levels again. And it's like, nope, I want out. I want out of that inside weekly bar, right, and I want to go above it. And so right here on that break of this this double inside 60 bar, right, the 1806 kind of level, right. I mean, it just launched, right. And it wasn't immediate, right. So I mean, it was a little bit of, you know, it kind of came up and pulled back. So that's the beauty of when you're not looking at the smaller term time frames. All you're doing is focusing on this bar. You don't get scared or worried of what's going on the smaller time frames. Like, oh no, it's pulling past, you know, pulling back past the, you know, the 5 MA or whatever the case is, right? No, you just look at your 60-minute bar, right? You can go look at it later, you know, to prove to yourself that there's a setup going on, but just based on the fact that we were breaking an inside week to the upside and a double 60 to the upside, inside 60 to the upside, boom, you had this huge move, right? And so from there, you're 1806 all the way up to 1813, so a nice 7-point move on Amazon. And, you know, trading wise, you know, however you want to do it, right? So I mean, it's you know, you can get a little bit cheap. So my target actually on this one was 1810, because I was like, okay, if it breaks to the upside, it'll at least take out this, you know, the pivot here, and then might push a little bit higher. So I figured 1810 was a good target, right? You know, so however you want to do it, but at the time it was the 1785s were about 0.7 delta. So yeah, so 0.75 delta. So that's pretty good. So basically what that means is, and they was trading at about 31 at the time. So what you can see is that on those bars, it was basically a $500, $600, $700 trade, just using those in the money options. Now, yeah, they're expensive. It's $3,700, you know, or at the time it was $3,100 but you're really not risking much, right? Because where's your stop? Your stop is at the bottom of this bar. Okay, and that was 1802, from 1806 to 1802. So you're really only risking $400 to make, you know, pretty much a 1-to-1 was basically the risk reward I was looking for on that for an intraday scalp. But it ended up being even more than that. It ended up being almost a double, right? So if you think, well, in terms of risk, the options themselves didn't double, but the risk is all you have to worry about, right? I'm risking $400, and then where am I here? And then I'm making, right, from 31 to about almost $800, right? So the high of the day was 37, so it was about so a little bit, so 1.5% gain off of that one. So pretty strong indicator right there, a pretty strong setup that you should keep in mind. Now, not all of these work, right? So because what happens is when we're double inside, right, it means there's a lot of chop going on. So if the whole market itself didn't look like it was gearing up for a bounce, and that was the thing, is we had a big push up today, and then it, you know, conserved energy and then bounced again, right? So that was the key. And then just watching that, observing this double or the inside week to the upside is also pretty key there too. So the other one is NVIDIA. And so NVIDIA, I tweeted this out a little bit earlier today too, around the same time I tweeted out Amazon. Now this one didn't have as big a move, but it also wasn't taking the inside week to the upside either, so it didn't have as much momentum. But even here, here's your first bar, right? Inside bar, double inside bar, break to the upside. So you're at 182.40 all the way to 183.50. So a nice 1-point move off of NVIDIA there. So I mean, not, you know, not amazing stuff, but I mean, you know, these type of moves pay the bills, right? So I mean, it's you know, a 1-point move there. If you're trading just the you know, straight common shares, you know, you can make, you know, potentially $1,000 off of that trade, you know, or more, or you know, just trading the options on it. I think they were 187 at the time here, $1.87, which is nice, and then they got over, you know, $2. So you're talking about a 30-cent move on options. You know, you do 10 of those, you get you know, you have a nice $300 trade right there. That pays bills. So little setups like this are just kind of nice to make it money on intraday, especially when they're on FANG stocks, and especially when the market is starting to push up, and especially like on Amazon where there's a key level. So hopefully everybody caught all that. So let's see. So I'm not sure why it is not showing up on my YouTube. I'm not showing any of the stuff I was doing. So hopefully you guys got to see all that, because it was a pretty good recap of today's information. So anyway, so at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please plug them into the chat window, and we'll go through those. And we'll try to get done by 10 o'clock so everybody can get a good night's sleep. So, Harvey, what's going on? NTs, absolutely. And please, and JD been good. That's awesome, man. Good job on that. NTs, let's see. Netties. Wow. Look at that move today. So basically Chinese today started off with last night that China had some good numbers, economic numbers and all that. So a lot of the Chinese names were in play today. So NetEase definitely was one of them, right? So gap up. I mean, kind of like this big machete-like hammer right here, and I had to coin that. But 249, boom, 227, amazing move today, right? So what's it looking like on the daily? Strong. Right? I mean, it's now it's closed over the upper Bollinger Band, so just be careful there for some consolidation. I would look for maybe a pause day, and then you might get a measured move to the upside on that one. So let's just kind of take a peek at where it is on the weekly. Weekly, just be careful here. You're at the upper upper Bollinger Band on the weekly, and you're inside kind of this cloud here. But nice. I mean, it's just a really great move this week. So keep in mind too, the average it's about the same size of every other week before that. So just be careful. It might just kind of consolidate for the rest of the week. So something to keep in mind. JD. Wow. Unbelievable. So JD, not my favorite CEO in the world, but it is making quite a move here. It's starting to get actually a little bit overextended, which I'm kind of liking a little bit. So look here how it went. It got overbought here. This is the daily chart. Now we got overbought on the RSI, and it closed above the upper Bollinger Band. This is a reversal trade, or potential reversal play. Now it did it, of course, it did it here, right here, and here. So picking it accurately is key, right? So what did this do here? It was kind of an indication. This was an inside bar here. Never took that to the downside, so not the time to short yet. It took it to the upside, kind of gave a topping tail, and then it went inside one more day, and then finally broke that to the downside. So that kind of brought it all back in. So keep that in mind of how it behaves around those upper Bollinger Bands. Now it's above it. So these ones you kind of keep long. Remember we did the Bollinger Band video. You kind of keep long until it catches up to the Bollinger Band. So here it was long, right? Bollinger Band caught up, and finally crossed over, and then as it came back in, it kind of rolled over. So at this point, it is possible to get some follow through to the upside as well. And we've been tracking this for a little bit of a while because we saw this this trend line here on RSI, and almost could have caught this bounce at the 200 moving average, as we because I think last time we looked at it, we were somewhere in here, and just kind of continued above. Boom! Look at that, hit that, and then bounced. So that's a little nugget there on trading with RSI. Paul, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you, man. K-Chan, what's going on? How are you? Nudie Poo, how are you? Can you do AVO? And you got into point as holding overnight. Okay, cool. Let's take a look. AVO. AVO Pharmaceuticals. Ooh, nice. Well, that doesn't hurt, does it? So, oh, nice. Yeah, so you're here. All right, this is a very strong move today. Nice push. Here's your 50 moving average, this red bar right here. Huge push through that into the cloud. Okay, so it didn't use that level here as resistance. So my thought is that, again, possible pause day tomorrow, and then maybe another push to the upside. So that would be nice. And then look at this. You got this nice gap right here that you're starting to get into. So it has pretty good way to go up to 171. So I'd look for some consolidation, maybe a first target potentially that 131. But just keep your stops tight, and or relatively tight. Keep it below the cloud here. Well, you said you were in at 0.98. So yeah, just don't let it get away from you too much, right? So, but there is some potential here with the gap, and then the inner top of the cloud. So that's looking pretty good. Netfry, what's going on, buddy? VFF, you love that VFF. Let's see. So, give me a second. Nice bar today. So look at that. So yesterday on the candlesticks, right? So yesterday put in a kind of a Morningstar reversal bar. And so you would expect after that to get a push further to the downside, right? And it made sense, right, too, because the dailies kind of put a top in and you give you a death cross here on the 510 MA. And then today it said, "Oh no, the Bears are in control." And so the Bulls are in control. So it's green and finished on the top, the top end of the range. So nice hammer bar today. Now the 5 MA is starting to curl back over, right? Everything's kind of pointing upward. So there is some potential on that one. Nice catch on that, NetFry. And NVTA. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay, NVTA. So here was your inside bar, right, on the daily. Then it kind of took that to the upside, gave you a hammer, and then a nice push today. Okay, so I mean, don't discount that. That was pretty decent. So 23.44 all the way up to 24, right, 70. So that's a pretty good move on this stock, considering it opened, at 23. So it retested that hammer bar, and then pushed back up. So I would expect to see a little consolidation on this one, just to kind of see what it wants to do. But that is looking very interesting. Let's go back over to the our volumetric levels and just kind of see how that's looking there too. Yep, nice. So it already broke through. Right, nice gap above this volumetric resistance, and it's just kind of been pushing itself up. Also keep an eye here on your trend line. Right, kind of area. So just watch, see if it holds that, 2285, situation. Let's take a look here too, just based on yesterday's conversation about Fibonacci extensions from volumetric levels. So let's go here and just kind of see where we are. Okay, so it's about 100% from the red volumetric level, and then 161.8 here. So I guess if it holds, right, I mean, there is potential, right, all the way up to 34 in the future, but it is definitely worth keeping an eye on. So another nice one, NetFry. Aaron, what's going on? Good to see you. Shirley, how are you today? Good to see you. G10, what's going on, buddy? ADI. Yeah, let's take a look. ADI. Analog devices. Good. Okay, yeah, so we've had our pitchfork here. From the last request. So just kind of, it was hanging around this, the median line, kind of came down, nice gap up today. So just watch how it handles this, this 110 level, right? If it pivots here, then, look for another push down, but if it breaks through it, you might get another, kind of move to the upside on that one. KH. There's an interesting one. Were you thinking KHC maybe? Maybe KHC? I feel like you're thinking KHC, but let me know if not. So yeah, so nice bounce there, kind of off of the volumetric level, but still really, really beat up. This is the type of one that's probably going to surprise to the upside at some point, because it's such a such a kind of a staple company. So just keep an eye on that. It might, but it could consolidate for a while, drift down. I've seen these things do that, kind of drift down. Then maybe earnings will be stellar, and then boom, it's up before you know it. So that's a tough one to follow. So sorry if I got KH wrong, but that one didn't come up. And ES. I assume you're not talking about futures, but I'm sure you mean Eversource here. So let's just take a look and see how that's looking. Here, 52.76. The high there, 72. So a couple cool levels. It's definitely been pushing its way up here. Let's see. We'll do a little trend line here. What that looks like. If we use this, as a basically a trend line, it kind of broke below it a little bit here today. So just be careful to see if it can get back above today's high, and then for another push, maybe to the upside. If not, and it stays below this line here, then it might retest this 68.13, and if that fails, then check your fib fan line below. Robbie, what's going on, man? JPM. So when that the rallies are legit when the financials participate, right? Interestingly enough, JPM came on my radar kind of recently, but it was a little bit too. This is kind of the area I wanted to catch it as it kind of broke back through the pitchfork area, but then it has pushed through. We did a lecture on linear regression channel, so that's kind of where JPM is right now. It's pushed through the linear regression line, and look at that, it filled that gap too very nicely. So that was a good move on JP Morgan today. So if the rallies are legit, the financials are going to go along with it, right? So that's always the case, at least historically. So but for the most part, big move today. Just look to see if it holds there. It might chop a little bit, and it might push. I'll try to at least make an attempt to these, that pivot high there. So that could be pretty good. Over at what level is that? 108 kind of area. BAC and WFC. Sure. So Bank of America, another good move today. Push through volumetric area, and this whole area. Look, after it gapped up recently, right? Support. Oh, broke support, right? Back over it again. So yeah, it didn't want to stay below that at all, and it did, I believe, filled the gap, the earnings gap too. So it accomplished its job down here, and then it kind of came back up, little gap below, but I would still expect some consolidation, maybe a push back up to 29.24. Bank of America is a tough one to trade, but it is possible. Wells Fargo too can be pretty fun to trade. It was on the short radar yesterday because it had such a big red bar right here. Let's go to the candlestick, just kind of take a look. See that is. So we had this big red bar, kind of pushed into the cloud, came back in. I think, what did they have? Like the CEO quit or something like that, or got retired. So here you have inside bar here, right above the daily cloud. So I think a break over today's high could give a push to the upside. So if not, watch the break to the low, to the downside. So, but for the most part, it does look more bullish to me than anything. So, cool, good stuff there, Aaron. Awesome. Prayer Kid, what's going on? Glad you can make it, of course. Good job today. A little choppy, but I'm glad we were successful. Tamika, what's going on? How are you? Let's see. Can we take a Legend, ATVI, and Roku? Sir, certainly. Legend. Okay, so very interesting here on the daily. This has been a favorite too of one of our other YouTube followers here. So, but yeah, so nice push up from the lows, right? Kind of came all the way, tried to get through the cloud here, and then failed at this Fibonacci fan line, and then kind of came back in pretty handily. So, just be careful with this one. I mean, if it chops a little, it might want to test the lower end, of that range. ATVI has kind of been on the radar a little bit. It's the way it's been handling these. It's kind of earnings gap, and then what did they have? Anthem or one of their new games that came out that really, even after earnings, earnings were bad, but then they had these great subscribers, to their their online community. Came up, came back down, up, right? So a little bit of everything here. So let's just take a look here. Let's go to the whenever you see those pivots like that. Right, it's good to just kind of check with your brackets just to say, hey, this was from here to here. So let's just kind of look and see. Right, so we were expecting maybe a potential pivot here instead of broke through it. Right, it's kind of coming up again. So next kind of area just to kind of pay attention to is somewhere in mid-April, right, April 15th. So just see what it does. If it comes up and breaks through this fib line, right, it might come back down because it's in this kind of congestion zone, and then you might see a pivot here, somewhere around the middle of the month. So just be careful of that. Roku. Good old Roku. Roku's one of those stocks that just always ends up surprising you when you're not looking, right? So I mean, great move today, right? So we had a push up here, break to the downside, consolidation, right? Just the earnings graph is incredible. So here you had 65, it broke 65, pushed to 67, so that was a good day trade. Came back in, did it again, right? And then broke this level, right? And just kept on breaking levels, and then it finally said, I'm done. Right, so whenever you have like these push to the highs and then it kind of comes lower, you could do an entry here. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12, 13, 40, right? All these bars here, and each new high bar, just be very careful when it takes out those lows, right? So here, you could have taken taking that low there, had a position there, maybe some puts, and then boom, you had a great day that day. Then it kind of held these levels, and then, hammer, and then nice push to the upside today. So almost tagged the upper Keltner channel. It's starting to curl up. So there is some potential here, but yeah, it's hard to get like a real overall count of what it's doing. So, one thing you could do if we go to these levels here, it is looking kind of interesting. Yeah, just something to keep in mind here. I mean, it's almost like, here, let me remove all the way from the lows. There's kind of a good level here. So, kind of broke below here, reclaimed today. So just watch these levels here, 67, right? It comes up. Watch how it handles that, that kind of trend line area. Definitely didn't want to break down, so that's good. Paul, what's going on? WBA? this is it tomorrow morning? Oh gosh, yeah. So tomorrow. Thank you for bringing that up, Paul. That's on the list. Let me add that to the game plan for tonight for the 15 orbs for tomorrow. So we're definitely going to watch the 15 orbs, right? So, I mean, personally, I think they're going to beat. I mean, just because they've gotten so beat up recently, right? I mean, it's Walgreens, right? I mean, it's not like it's a failing company or anything, right? You have a couple of good things here. Look, you have bullish RSI divergence from the last push down, right? You've got, it's holding volumetric support. If you go to the weekly, right? So here was the excellent entry, right? Anytime on the weekly you see like a weekly bar close below its lower Bollinger Band, right? Especially if there's nothing like horrible going on with the company, right? You do expect a reversal. So that was all the way down there, 59, all the way up to 64. So nice move already, but it's got plenty of room to go to the upside. So little point of indecision today. Right now we're at a doji week, and doji day too. So very appropriate before earnings. The Bollinger Bands are coming in, right? So you have the upper Bollinger Bands already crossed into the Keltner channel, so the lower one's down here. Hard to say. I just think it's going to beat to the upside just to kind of take out, start to cover some of this down move here, which is really no reason for that, I guess, except for just healthcare news type stuff. So yeah. Good one. Rookie Trader, what's going on? Good. FedEx, thank you for reminding me of that. Yeah, FedEx is interesting. So FedEx got downgraded today, right? Wow, it got downgraded and it's up. Wow, not much you could do about that. So that was obviously, I was going to say, if it was down, I would look to get a long on this one, right? But at this point, it's super strong. Look at that. And it broke through right at the cross of the red cloud into the yellow cloud, right? So anytime like it kind of thins out, right? Usually like kind of like these type of areas, right? These type of areas, those indicate, kind of potential points of change, right? And so, obviously not every time. It didn't really do it there, but let me see if you can see kind of another one somewhere here. So here, right, it got real thin here, so that was a pivot, right? So you can kind of start to see those things, but if it can get through those thin areas, right, usually that's a change in trend. So here you got the 5 MA gold cross over the 10 MA, right? Everything's pointing up, so it is actually looking really bullish. I wouldn't be surprised if we had a pause day, but FedEx can move. The options are a little bit funky, right? There's not a lot of volume on them. They can get a little spready, but watch for a pause and then another push to the upside. So yeah, definitely a good one to keep an eye on there. Obviously the downgrade meant nothing. If anything, they're trying to, a lot of time the analysts try to push it down with a downgrade so that they can get their company in it, right? Excuse me. So SE, look at that. Oh, I just love that, right? So nice gap up. This is such a perfect trade right here, right? So you had this huge gap up after earnings, right? And then boom, inside day, nice northern doji right there. And then so that next day after that, boom, to the upside. And then, it was a little bit scary, right, the next day, but then you had, some excellent follow through on that. So at this point, it just is kind of chopping around, right? So, just kind of keep an eye there. But let's see. Yeah, let's redraw that since we had a new high. Activate, boom. So yeah, look for actually a bull flag on this potential. Right, so kind of watch how it handles that. Look for a breakout through this 24 area, which is also corresponding with some kind of an air pocket here above. Just because of it's at highs, but air pocket here on. So always be careful at highs, right? You don't want to get caught, like this guy, whoever was up there. But look for a push because there is volume up here now. So a breakthrough here could get you back to that 25 level. Of course, if it continues below, look at this big air pocket here on the volume too. That could bring you down at least all the way to 21.27. So definitely worth keeping an eye on there. And SMAR, let's see. Okay, yeah, wow, amazing, isn't it? So look how it worked its way all the way up this pitchfork and then broke through it and then kind of came back down. It's right at this volumetric level. So if you get a pivot here, right, I would expect another push up to kind of that 43, kind of area. Shirley, what's going on? Everybody screenshot Shirley's stuff because I don't know. I think that we could do a fund like the Shirley fund, and if we put longs on all of your entries, I think it'd be like a hedge fund. We'd be rich. CDNS. Let's see. Wow, parabolic. I mean, just pretty amazing. So I mean, at this point, we could draw a channel line, just kind of track it, I guess. See if we stay in that channel. But in the meantime, it's still pushing, so that's pretty amazing. Keys, similar, right? Look at that. Remember when we were tracking this, Shirley? Like it was going through the. This is a Shirley stock, y'all. So we were in here in this volumetric channel. We drew a pitchfork and tagged this volumetric load, came back in, tagged the pitchfork, and then launched. So I mean, this is just you come up with some amazing stuff. So I mean, just gotta see how it handles this area, and then it gapped up. I mean, this is one of those ones that is just getting some flow into it, but it doesn't even really have a lot of volume. Well, I guess it does. 2 million, 1 million. It just doesn't look big because it's so high. Nice. CTRP. Very good. So yeah, you see you had this kind of bull flag here. Boom, breaks volumetric level to the upside. So there's your next level there. 47.57. HTHT. Nice move with the Chinese names on the last one. This one too, good stuff. This had actually a pretty good channel coming here. Then it broke through it, right? Broke volumetric level, pushed to the upside. Kind of next air pocket is in here with a shot at the 49.26 level. EWH. There's your Hong Kong, right? ATR. Or ETF, but lots of gaps. So obviously very strong today. Nice push over that volumetric level right there. So hard to really kind of say exactly what it's doing, but we could draw a trend line or we could draw a channel. Let's kind of see how it hangs out in there. Good stuff. Yeah, Parakeet, nice pop at ES is expected. I know exactly. I just had to get in, before the open, right? I mean, but yeah, you knew it was gonna. If you guys trade futures, I mean, it's gonna launch at the open. So I mean, that was strong there. Very, very nice. High to high target completed. You nailed it, and then takes a profit there. And next target 29.11. Very nice. Shirley, ACIA. Okay. Fascinating move here. I do like this. Just kind of keep an eye on it. It is getting kind of high there, Shirley, so just be careful. It might pull back a little bit. Neo. Shirley, sometimes I think these are all the stuff that's in your portfolio, and you're just like, does it still look like it's going to go higher? That type of thing. So, but yeah, very similar. Nice moves. TGTX. Yep, gap fill. Watch for consolidation, push at least to 1140, and then your levels. MSCI. Boom. Unbelievable. Amazing moves, really. Wish I could. Beautiful. Very, very nice. Netfry, my pleasure, my friend. G10. Oh, yeah, KHC, cool, but we caught that, so good stuff. My pleasure. Jesse, what's going on, buddy? Love the fib off the volume profile on previous vid. Never thought about it. Yeah, man, that was just something that kind of hit me, and it's like, wow, that does make sense, and it's legit. I mean, it's pretty neat. I mean, let's just see what this one was like here. Let's go here. So surely these aren't too bad for you to do. So yeah, so broke through that fib there. But look where it was when it pivoted up here, just over that the 1.618. Look at that, working its way up to 220. We can do another one. That's fun to do. We could do it to the other volumetric line here. There. Look at that. Resistance, boom, broke through it. So I mean, just cool stuff. Just fun to do. Parakeet FX 2650 on XLF. Nice. That's a good follow up to the financials. Yes. So I think so. Yeah, good stuff. And ask me what's going on. Okay, so we looked at if you came in late, just tune back. We looked at Bank of America and Wells Fargo. But let's look at Disney. How did that do today? Because that was really, really bullish recently. Yeah, look at that. I missed this trade, guys. But it was a boom, hit this volumetric, then bounce. Just a perfect move from volumetric level 107.37 all the way up to this one here at 112. So I mean, just a great trade. That beautiful, right? So let's look at the fibs in there too while we're at it. Yep. So look at the fibs of the volume levels, right? So look at that. Where did it hit? 78.6, 78.6. Boom, right? Boom. Look at that. We have that complement there with the 50% line, with the volume level too. I mean, just nice stuff. Like, really fun stuff. Yeah. Da-da-da-da. Surely you get so many requests for Twitter, you'll get tons of followers if that's what you want. So I know, Nudie Boo, we're all sad about that. So surely you can. Everybody would follow you. Everybody in here definitely would. So and then a lot of folks watch these videos after the fact too. So you're famous. So Richard, what's going on, buddy? Can you take a quick look at Xilinx? Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, man. I meant to look at that the other day too. Even for the newsletter, I was going to break at the 130.57, but just don't get caught up here. I mean, it's not a lot of volume up there, so you don't know, if there's any buyers going to follow you into that area, right? That's kind of just my main thing. Let's do a fib extension on those volume levels too. This is fun. So we have this to here. That's to the red line. Boom, 168, right there. So there, if you base it off that, you've got a shot here at 137.13. If that were the case, I would definitely look to, trim some profits, or maybe even look at putting on a short. Let me see how that looks too on the Bollinger Bands. So remember here, basically on the weekly it closed over it, finally, and then came back in. Daily upper Bollinger Band, right, overbought right here. Boom. So that's just a nice reversal trade, So here at this doji, remember this one, doji upper Bollinger Band, overbought. It was over, right? These overbought conditions were over right there. Boom, to the downside. So nice consolidation. But yeah, look for a break at today's high. Decent hammer today for a shot at that 130.57. Otherwise, they might try to push you down, right? Because there might be a bunch of people hanging out that don't want it any higher than that. So just keep an eye on that, right? Just kind of keep an eye on what's going on there. So pretty interesting. It looks like kind of some sort of dragon or something. Anyway, good stuff. So Nudie Poop PDD. Feel like that is something else. Pattern day trade. I'm not sure. This one. That's right. This is like a new issue, right? Something like that. Anyway, I don't know. Sorry, Chinese stock. Anyway, daily boom up, hit the cloud, came back in, right? But you do have a golden cross here, so I would expect maybe a little kind of this type of consolidation and then another shot at it. So that is possible. Big gap up here too. As a potential target. So good stuff. Surely you will be your first part. Let's go. I know, exactly. Just start it. Let me know. I'm following too. Harvey. What's going on, buddy? Third and it's free. Nice. Net for LOL. Jeeton, SPY overheated or continuation? What do you think for tomorrow? Let's see. Futures are down. SPY. We kind of looked at the SPX early on, but it's it's still generally pretty bullish. This gap here is just so tempting, though. You know what I mean? So there's going to be some pressure tomorrow. So it should be pretty interesting. So I don't think it's just going to gap and go. I think there is going to be an attempt. And I think, like I started off, the weekly has got an open gap, and it's very rare to have an open gap on a week, right? Those tend to get filled at some point during the week. So someone's going to try at some point, right? There's going to be some pressure on it, so just be careful there. But of course, it can do whatever it wants to, break to the upside and continue going, right? There's plenty of room to go. So I'm just going to look to trade levels tomorrow. So off of the So if you're in the if you're a subscriber to the newsletter, right, positive-trends.com/newsletter.html, I send out the pivots, the floor pivots for SPX and volumetric levels. They kind of look like this. So this is for tomorrow, right? So I'm going to basically look at these, tomorrow, see how they hold those different levels. So there you go. So those are those, and NetFry 292. That's what I'm talking about. I know, man. You're just all about it. Let's keep going and going to the bank all the time. So awesome stuff. Well, look, guys, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Have a great night. Good trading day tomorrow. Remember, risk first, right? And keep an eye on those double inside 60s when the market's moving. And feel free to jump in and subscribe to the newsletter. It's a great deal. Lots of freebies. We have a free. It comes with a free alert system on Twitter, and it's just fun. So appreciate you guys. Have a good night, and we'll talk to you guys soon.